Someone is being questioned about their failure in chambers you will never see. The finest was recruited by your adversaries. Send them on a single task. Take you out any way you can. However, that individual just returned empty-handed, bewildered, and deeply frightened. And their whole plot was shattered by the response they received when they inquired. Why are you still alive? Why couldn't you get to them? I'm not sure. I can't seem to get my hands on them. They are aware. They anticipate me. There's something I can't touch protecting them. There is no paranoia here. This is the real discussion that is now taking on behind your back. They sent someone to ruin you, and they failed so badly they can't even explain it. You're going to learn why every trap that is laid for you falls before you can get to it. The reasons why every plan to destroy you fails at the last minute. Why are you still alive, breathing, and thriving? It was like witnessing someone struggle to catch smoke with their bare hands as they were planning your funeral. They can see you there, but each time they try to grab you, you manage to escape unharmed. It's not luck. Your adversaries are going completely crazy about it, which is anointing meeting awareness. Why is anything so important at this moment? These folks are returning with genuine perplexity. At first, perplexity rather than fury. Because things often run a specific way in their world, the shadowy areas in which they operate. Works of force, deceit, and manipulation. Type Amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. However, nothing is landing with you. It's similar to seeing someone attempt to use their bare knuckles to pound through reinforced steel. You stay unharmed while they injure themselves. And that misunderstanding is quickly changing into something else. Fear. For those who work in the dark, are more afraid of the light than anything else. And selected one. They can't even stare at you directly without exposing their own shadows, since you are emitting so much light right now. The hitman metaphor is more than simply hyperbolic rhetoric. Some of you may be surprised to learn that this is more accurate than you think. Something that was meant to go wrong for you as planned, but it didn't pan out. You avoided shots that you were unaware had been fired. You escaped traps that you were unaware were laid. When someone was on their way to you with malicious intent, natural calamities stepped in. Meetings were canceled. Plans broke down. At crucial times, technology malfunctioned. In reality, what they referred to as bad luck was your protection materializing in real time. Your forefathers weren't dozing off. The gods remained focused. All of the attempts were stopped before they could get to you. Let's now discuss what has really disturbed them. It goes beyond just surviving. Many individuals survive assaults. The fact that you know is what's causing them to lose sleep. They attempted something, you know. You feel it, but perhaps not all the details. You sense it. There have been times when you sense that something about a person or circumstance was off, and you chose to heed that instinct rather than brush it off. Dreams have alerted you to danger. You were forced to make last-minute changes to your plans because to intuitive hits. Gut feelings that warned of danger even when everything seemed to be completely secure and you paid attention. That's what makes you different from their earlier targets. You're not living a life of vulnerability and unconsciousness. You're conscious. You've been tapped in. Because of your elevated spiritual consciousness, you're almost impervious to their strategies. This is when a significant change of energy occurs. Everything changed when the person they sent, that partner in crime, that accomplice, came back and told them something. This individual knows. They are aware of our actions. The masks are transparent to them. They are aware of the trends. In a matter of minutes, I saw them see my genuine nature. After all, you can't trick someone who can see you coming from a mile away, so the whole plan had to be rethought. Someone who has recovered from their trauma and is aware of all the strategies is impossible to emotionally deceive. Someone who has a deeper connection to the source than you have to the dark cannot be spiritually attacked. The board of the game flipped. You seemed as a master who could see 10 moves ahead, but they believed they were up against a beginner. Something much more specific happened to some of you. In the midst of confusion and anguish, there was a family funeral or news of someone dying, and there was something strange about the way certain individuals were acting. You saw anomalies, queries with inadequate responses, and narratives that didn't quite fit. Additionally, You interrupted something far larger than you first imagined because you observed, you asked questions, and you didn't simply accept the official account of events. They need your quiet. They need your cooperation. They wanted you to be too distraught or too gullible to examine the situation thoroughly. However, you took a step back and defended yourself after seeing what you did. The case of marriage fraud that several of you discovered is very pernicious. Someone approached with long-term goals unrelated to romantic affection. It has to do with access. Access to your assets, relationships, legal status, and reputation. They were sent in as a component of a bigger plan. Perhaps to keep you away from genuine assistance. Perhaps to put oneself in a position to make money. Type amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. Perhaps to cause legal issues that would keep you in jail for years. Some of you even learned that someone was using your identity to commit acts of impersonation that may have wrecked your life. Here's the lovely bit, however. You got it. Perhaps not right away, but before irreparable harm is done. You avoided a trap that most people would need years to get out of thanks to your knowledge. Promote this video so that additional people who are selected like you may discover it if its message resonates with you. I'll tell you what your adversaries are now facing. They are ensnared in their own plans. They have turned the schemes they made to trap you into prisons for themselves. Legal problems are developing. Evidence that they believed was concealed is coming to light. There are screenshots. Witnesses are speaking. Instead, their own crimes were caught by the monitoring they were so eager to use against you. That's just the comedy of the cosmos. You get back what you give out. Their projected energy of harm is precisely boomeranging. Because you've proven to be untouchable, they are frantically attempting to hide their tracks, avoid repercussions, and find new targets. However, karma isn't appointment-oriented. Convenience is not an excuse for justice. No amount of deceit or evil tactics can stop what is about to happen to them. It has already begun. You're doing too much, they say. You accomplish something. Individuals manage to reduce it. Something is difficult for you. People behave as if they were aware of your failure. With certain individuals, you can't win since your conduct was never the problem. Your very existence is the problem. Their comfort is challenged by your presence. Their stagnation is highlighted by your advancement. No matter what you do, they will always find fault because your calm reveals their turmoil. When someone has already determined that you are incorrect, stop attempting to correct them. Give up trying to fit in with those who will always be critical of you. Simply be who you are. That is precisely what the proper people will value. The incorrect people's reactions will show who they are. This is when things start to get interesting. People who are unable to be near you will often nonetheless be in your circle. They will observe from afar. They'll look at your social media accounts. They will inquire about you from common friends. Even when you're frightening, your energy is magnetic, so they'll think about you more than they'd ever confess. People are inspired by you. You inspire them to improve. However, creativity without preparation breeds animosity. Thus, they secretly hope you'll make a mistake while admiring you from a distance. They're not too interested in your success. They want you to be brilliant, but not more brilliant than they are. You've spent your whole life in this intricate dance with individuals who both like and dread what you stand for. Let's now discuss what you have endured to get this point. Most individuals would have been shattered by the betrayals you've experienced. You've had pals that intentionally worked against your ambitions while feigning support for them. People have sabotaged you by using the information you revealed about your aspirations. People look at you as if you're exaggerating when you attempt to describe the unusual occurrences you've encountered. You're not. You draw strong spiritual resistance when you have a lot of spiritual influence. Things in life seem to be planned because they are. The strange things you've endured aren't random. You're being tested, developed, and perfected continuously. They're getting you ready for the future. You've asked yourself a lot of questions, considered if you were the issue, and looked for answers on why you were drawing such constant turmoil. Now, allow me to free you from it. Nothing is wrong with you. You're doing a positive action that puts everything else at risk, and everything bad will retaliate. Here's what you should know, however. You've become stronger with each tower moment you've endured. Better things were made possible by everyone who departed. Every betrayal helped you develop your judgment. Your brightness was purified by each gloomy season. There was no waste. Nothing happened at random. It was all preparation. This is something you may not have known. Generational patterns that have existed in your family for decades or more have been broken by you. You're breaking the cycle of trauma, dysfunction, and restriction. It was you who said enough. It was you who made the different decision. It was you who refused to share the suffering. And there is a price for disrupting this trend. It indicates that you often feel like your family's odd man out. The one that isn't appropriate. The one with a different perspective. The one who questions custom. Your relatives may not comprehend your journey. They may be critical of your decisions. You're not being tough or rebellious, despite what others may believe. You're exercising your freedom. Additionally, your independence jeopardizes their established routines. Your development demonstrates what they've come to terms with. What they have overlooked is revealed by your healing, so that they will oppose you. They will attempt to reintroduce you into previous relationships, but you are unable to do so. Those areas are too small for you. That's precisely what you're meant to accomplish. You've reached a point where you won't compromise on your limits. You've had enough of minimizing yourself, justifying yourself, and putting up with energy that isn't your own. Additionally, this change is further separating you from other people. Your development intimidates some people. They recall your moments of uncertainty, self-doubt, and susceptibility to persuasion. You now move with conviction. You now have faith in yourself. You no longer feel guilty when you say no. Additionally, people are unable to connect to this version of you. As a result, people will term you frigid, altered, or different. Permit them. You're not chilly. You're clear. And to those who profit from your uncertainty, clarity always seems to be coldness. The spiritual world is aware of your position. You function on a level that most people never reach, even if you don't completely grasp it yourself and feel like you're continuously learning things. You're gifted. Discernment that alerts you before to the use of reasoning. Energy reading, intuition that reads text the way others do. Knowledge that originates from a place beyond your years. And those who are spiritually attuned see this in you right away. They want to compete with you or learn from you. Their midway ground is rare. You've undoubtedly seen that other spiritually inclined individuals sometimes respond to you in peculiar ways. They know you're working at a level that challenges them, so they either deliberately maintain their distance from you or cling to you fervently. Some people will attempt to teach you things that you already understand. Some will use erroneous advice to attempt to make you feel inferior. Some will attempt to show you how much better developed they are. Allow them to perform. Nothing has to be proven by you. Your abilities are self-evident. Your outcomes are self-evident. Your tranquility is self-evident. True power is not self-evident. It just is. 1. You should be aware of the following relationship-related information. Your brightness won't scare those who are destined to be in your life. It's precisely because it beckons them higher that they will be drawn to it. Your strength doesn't frighten your true tribe. They rejoice about it. They can shine without you dimming it. They are aware that everyone has access to adequate light. But you have to quit shrinking yourself for individuals who aren't ready in order to discover these people. Stop giving folks who have already chosen not to comprehend your decisions too much explanation. Give up attempting to establish relationships with individuals who are obviously unable to manage your energy. Making everyone feel at ease is not your responsibility. It's your responsibility to respect what you carry and have faith that the appropriate others will see it. Some of you are holding out for a certain person to get in touch. Someone from your past who distanced themselves or withdrew, leaving you perplexed since you believe this relationship to be important. Timing is important, but it most likely was. Before they can stand by your side, some folks must go develop themselves. Certain lessons must be learned the hard way for certain individuals. Before they realize what they left behind, some people need to see you shine from a distance. Avoid pursuing them. Don't plead for their interest. Don't strive to prove your value to them. There's no question about your value. They'll come back when they're ready, if that's their destiny. If not, a better one is on the way. You may be experiencing indecision at the moment, feeling torn between possibilities and uncertain about your next course of action. This often indicates that you are in the waiting period. Something that hasn't aligned, yet is starting to do so. Someone who hasn't matured, yet is growing. Although it isn't open yet, the correct door is getting ready to open. Just because you're impatient doesn't mean you have to move. Don't let anxiousness influence your choices. Avoid making a decision because you're sick of waiting. Await your insight. Await your tranquility. A gut feeling will tell you, this is it. You should wait for that feeling. For you, it always does. Because you have direct access to divine direction. And you are never left dangling by divine counsel. Most individuals never learn what you have learned. How to break patterns. Tips for adapting to difficult change. How to develop when it seems impossible to progress. And what makes you unique is your capacity for quick evolution. The majority of individuals spend their whole lives trapped in the same patterns, relationships, responses, and limits. You don't. Even when it's difficult and you face criticism for it, you identify what needs to change and make the necessary changes. Even if you have to go into uncharted area and leave behind comfortable surroundings. You were selected in part because of your readiness to change. When summoned, God needs individuals who will really move. Most won't. You do. People are triggered by your confidence because it stems from something they're unable to get. Because life has been easy, you lack confidence. You're confident because you've come out stronger after surviving what should have crushed you. You've seen yourself conquer insurmountable obstacles time and time again, which gives you confidence. You realize that something greater than yourself is supporting you, which gives you confidence. This isn't ego. This is a verified and tested religion. Fire is the source of this power, and your calmness is incomprehensible to those who have not experienced your flames. They misinterpret your calmness as conceit, your confidence as pride, and your self-assurance as illusion. Allow them to misinterpret. Your purpose is not to persuade anybody. Someone is now observing you and is coming to the realization that they made a grave error in their relationship with you. Despite having you in their lives, they failed to treat you with the respect you merited. Perhaps they were swayed by what other people thought of you. Perhaps they were coping with their own fears. Perhaps they were only unaware of what they had until it was taken away. However, they can now see you, your development, your shine, and the life you're creating apart from them. And the full weight of their loss is bearing down on them. They want to get in touch, but right now, they're too scared, too embarrassed, too conscious that they had mishandled something priceless. Don't give them an easy time. Just because they woke up at last doesn't mean you should reach back. Give them that lesson to sit with. Allow them to grow from that setback. They must return with humility, awareness, and genuine reform if they are to make a comeback. If not, they will just squander your time once again. It's going to be abnormally quiet around you over the next several days. It has nothing to do with their dislike for you. It's because they're unsure of how to interact with you since your energy has increased. More than ever, you terrify people, not by coercion, by being there, or by the indisputable fact that you're now someone who doesn't need approval or validation. A person who has faith in their own knowledge. Someone who moves with intention. Since most individuals are still looking to others for approval, this causes anxiety. You're not. That's behind you now. You now respond to your calling. The rest is incidental. Some of you have a message to offer or are creative, but you've been reluctant to express it because it seems vulnerable. This is what you must comprehend. You're supposed to be noticed. You want your voice to be heard. You want people to hear what you have to say. You shouldn't disguise the fact that exposure makes you uncomfortable. Resistance is an attempt to keep you tiny. What you carry is needed by the world. Your offerings are just what some folks are yearning for. And each day you postpone out of fear means they miss out on something that may transform their lives. People will be triggered by your visibility. It always has. However, it will also awaken, heal, and inspire others. People who are important will find you. The ones who don't will soon be exposed. Both are useful to you. Let's deal with the isolation. For the most of your life, you have felt alone. Because most people can't meet you where you really are, even when you're surrounded by others. While the true you is hidden, people engage with the version of you that they feel most at ease with. The price of carrying what you carry is this. Most people never get to see the layers you live in. Most people never investigate the dimensions in which you think. You experience depths that most people purposefully avoid. It's uncommon to find someone who can really be with you in all of your complexity. However, such individuals do exist, and they will begin to show up once you completely embrace your power. Not many, not everyone, but enough. They're the true ones, the ones that are carrying their own light and aren't scared of yours. You're not insane. You don't have too much. You're not damaged. The majority of the world is sleeping, but you are awake. You know that most individuals in this field are just going through the motions. You have a connection to something that most people no longer have. Additionally, this makes you feel isolated from other people. However, solitude is often a prelude. You're getting ready for a degree of impact that calls for this time of solitude. You're becoming stronger, more focused, and more polished. Everything that occurs is for you, not for you. You have to realize that something else is going on. You give the impression that things are simple. When you do anything, people think it comes easily to you. They are blind to the battle that goes on behind the scenes, the restless nights, the uncertainty, and the setbacks you endured. When they see the finished product, they believe it was easy for you. They feel inferior after comparing your highlight reel to their behind-the-scenes struggles, which adds another level of intimidation. Here's what they're lacking, however. You put in more labor than most people realize. When others are preoccupied, you're disciplined. Even when others lose up, you remain focused. You give up things that other people wouldn't give up. Your outcomes aren't miraculous. They're the result of persistent work that no one notices. And for this reason, individuals often don't follow through when you attempt to educate them or show them the way. Without the process, they want the result. Without your discipline, they want to be on your level. Without your prayers, they seek your tranquility. They want your radiance without your development. And they give up when they see how much labor is involved. Then they blame you for making it seem simple. They refer to you as fortunate, privileged, or anything else other than what you are dedicated to. You're about to have an intriguing encounter with someone from your past. In the process of waking up, some of them are remembering you, what you try to tell them, warnings you gave that they disregarded, advice they disregarded, and the realization that you were correct about things they weren't prepared to hear. They're also going through their own transformations and experiencing their own spiritual moments. A few of them want to get back in touch. Some people feel too embarrassed. Some people are just thinking about you, fantasizing about you, or sending you energy. Do you sense this? Recently, you've noticed that others are paying more attention to your energy. You're not imagining that. That's true spiritual awareness, recognizing that you are now the center of attention for many others. Don't become involved with these folks right away. Indeed, some of them have grown, some have learnt, and some may even be prepared for things they were previously unable to manage. However, you must see proof, not just hear it. They may claim to have changed. Apologies may be made in a lovely way. People can guarantee that they have changed. Keep an eye on what they do. Keep an eye on their consistency. Check to see whether they have really completed the task or if they have just improved their linguistic skills. You have more insight than ever before. Have faith. Reconnecting with someone who is supposed to be in your life will seem natural. It will be serene. You won't feel like you're justifying or defending yourself against warning signs that you've decided to ignore. Here's what's going to change, Trump. You're going to begin drawing in individuals who really value your contributions, respect your limits, value your insight, don't drain your energy, and enhance rather than detract from your life. You've finally quit settling, which is why these folks are coming. You no longer offer yourself to anybody who expresses interest. You've given up attempting to explain yourself to those who aren't interested. You no longer carry those who are unable to bear themselves. Additionally, this change in your energy is making room for the appropriate relationships to develop. Right now, those who deceived you are learning. Punishment isn't karma. It's learning. And they're learning from life what they lost when they left you. Some of them are experiencing precisely what they caused you to experience. After leaving your life, some people are seeing the disintegration of their own. Some people are coming to the realization that the prosperity and tranquility they felt in your presence weren't coincidental. People are lifted by your enthusiasm. People are blessed by your presence, and they experience the absence they're learning when they take that goodness away. Avoid interrupting their lesson by bringing them back too soon. Let the lesson be finished. If they're expected to return, they will do so with the knowledge they have gained from their error. You're beginning to grasp a key concept about counsel and direction. You're often asked what people should do. They appreciate your wisdom. They respect your viewpoint. But where do you go when you need direction? The majority of individuals are unable to offer you what you give them. They don't function at the frequency necessary to fully understand your predicament. They provide superficial solutions to complex issues. You have also discovered the hard way that the finest advice comes from inside, from your direct access to spiritual knowledge, and from the peaceful understanding that arises when you start listening to yourself instead of asking other people. Because of this, you often feel as if you must solve every problem on your own. It's not that others don't care, they just can't see what you see, which is why you do in many ways. Cannot comprehend the intricacy of what you're navigating, nor can they access what you have access to. You have therefore turned into your own most trusted counselor and finest counsel, and this independence terrifies others even more. They're used to being required and to having the solutions, but you are no longer dependent on their consent to act. Another thing you've observed is this. People often disregard the counsel you offer them. They then proceed to do precisely what you forewarned them not to do. After it blows up, they return and acknowledge that you were correct. You've lost count of how many times this pattern has happened, and it used to irritate you. Now that you know, why ask if they weren't going to listen? There are some who do not seek advice. They want to be validated. What they're going to do has already been determined. All they want is your co-signature. The truth they don't want to hear is dismissed when you don't communicate it to them. The lesson you attempted to spare them is then imparted to them by life. You're renouncing your frequent attempts to assist others who aren't prepared to assist themselves in part because of this. Your abilities are on the verge of becoming indisputable. Work you've been doing while no one was looking, seeds you've been sowing in secret, and things you've been quietly nurturing. It's all going to come into view, and those who question you will be taken aback when it happens. The people who rejected you will feel awkward. Those who underestimated you will come to regret their mistake. Avoid gloating. Don't elaborate. Don't explain. Continue constructing. There is just one answer required: your success. The only evidence needed is your calm. The only retaliation required is your delight. The assaults weren't random, as you well know, and you can sense it if you're listening. They're enclosing themselves. Let's discuss our current course of action. I created Destiny Engine for that reason.